Good morning, family. Welcome to another episode of Island Girl with me. I wanted to talk to you guys about the retreat that I went to on Sunday with Nathan. It was phenomenal. It was it was a retreat where, we did yoga, right? A few minutes of yoga. And then after the stretching and the breathing, we lay down, and during Savasana, there was two teachers. One did sound bowls and the bells, right? And then the other teacher did the gong, right? She played the gong, and that's who I pretty much went with. That gong teacher, I've taken gong with her on Fridays, and she also does Kundalini yoga. And so I do Kundalini yoga with her Monday and Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. And one of my friends, Christina, was like, hey, there's a retreat on Sunday the 19th. She wrote me like maybe a week or two before it. And she's like, let's go. And I was like, yes, let's go. And so we went, and a few days before it, Nathan, I was telling my family, like, hey, yeah, I'm going to this retreat. I'm excited about it. He's like, I want to go. And I was like, are you sure? This is like a spiritual retreat. This is like, we're going to be doing gong and yoga and, there's no internet. You can't come back. This is a whole day thing, If you commit, you're committing to that, and you have to be there and enjoy, and pretty much like video cut storage. And so he decided to come, and he had a great time. He was so engaged. He was so present. He was doing all the practices and everything. So yeah, we had a very amazing trip. It was a very harmonious group. It was 20 people all together, plus the two teachers. And it was amazing. We created this container of like high vibration, and we had so much fun. We were laughing, and the little group that we were with was mostly women. The ones we were with, like in the pool, once all the activities were over and we had free time, and once we had eaten lunch, we had time at the pool. And so that little group was like maybe 8 or 9 of us. Yeah. So it was mostly women and Nathan, and we were just there talking about women roles, talking about astrology, talking about love, all the things, parenting. Me and my friend were the only moms in that little clique of like 8 of us. So we were like giving the younger ones some tools and, tips and things like that. It was such a beautiful day and a beautiful experience. And it was a portal where this group of people went with the intention of, aligning their chakras, cleaning their aura, right? And detaching pretty much from emotional blockages they have, or detaching from their expectations of the future, detaching from people, from things that are stealing their peace and their energy. And so we all went there with, this desire or intention of loving ourselves more and loving this human experience more, and then being more love, right? Being love embodied and walking the world as love. And that's exactly what we did. Like, once we left, and like the next day, I was like, wow, that was phenomenal. Like, we went there to detox and to spend a day away from the world. The World Cup the final was that day, and we were like in La La Land. We didn't know what was happening. We were removed from the world. And while we were removed from the world in that portal, we were really aligning with our higher selves, and we were, removing blockages, emotional, psychological, physical blockages in our energetic field, in our chakras, in our bodies, and it was so phenomenal. And I am so excited offer in the future to facilitate those experiences, for people, in my community, and even people who aren't in my community, to, to be able to have such experiences like that, to go and do some of this work, this nervous system regulation, and this, just going into your nervous system that holds 7 generations of trauma, and learning about your chakras and trying to align them, and learning what your energetic field is, electric field is, right? And like your aura, and how things attach to you, and that you can clean your aura, and all these things that people aren't really exposed to and people don't really know. And so just bringing these tools and bringing this awareness and bringing these resources to people who need it, because just doing the exercise, the physical body thing is not enough. We are a body, mind, soul, right? And an energetic, multidimensional beings. And we have to make sure that all those cups are filled and that all those cups are tended to. And we tend to only tend to the physical cup, right? Of the body. But then energetically, there's stuff going on, which is why the body gets sick, right? Emotionally, there's things going on, which is why the mind gets sick. And yeah. So I'm really excited to be able to facilitate that in the future. And it was such a blessing to do it with my son, my 16-year-old son, getting him into that. And then yesterday when he woke up, which was the day after, he was like, wow, I feel so good. I feel so light. And I was like trying to talk to him about it, exactly what was being done while he was laying down on the mat, and the gong was banging, and just so he's exposed to it more, and so he can do more yoga on his own. But I don't want to force this on him. I want this to come from him and from Scar, but the fact that he came on his own, like on his own accord, that he wanted to join me on that, I was so grateful that God gave me that, and also him being my eldest, I was less awake with him, I gave him more programming. I didn't have the patience that I have with Scarlett with him, because I was 23, I was a baby, and I was trying to do nursing, and I was, learning how to be in relationship with Bay, and like all this shit going on at the same time in our relationship, and raising a baby and going to school and being in scarcity and not having the help or the village to rely on. And so I gave him more programming than I've given Scar. And so that was beautiful that I could do this with him, hopefully remove some of that programming, some of those veils that I actually gave him, that I put on him. And I'm grateful that God gave me that. And we'll see what the future holds with him, and that, in that sense. I made a list of things I wanted to talk about, because I literally I saw a video yesterday that said, like, when you turn that red button on your phone and you record, and when you don't have a script, you're pretty much just flowing, right? It's like the Holy Spirit, or spirit is going through you, and what comes out, you don't know what's going to come out. Like I had the thought of talking about the retreat, right? But everything else that comes out is just flow. It's just me flowing, presence. There's no mind. It's just flow. There's nothing telling me, hey, don't say that, don't say. It just, whatever comes out my mouth, I don't even know what's going to come out. And then when I watch it, I'm like, wow, that was really good. I was flowing, And so I spoke about the retreat, and I wanted to talk about Mercury retrograde. So we've been in Mercury. Yeah, so we've been in Mercury retrograde for a few weeks. It ends on Thursday, the 23rd, but Mercury retrograde lasts like 2 weeks or a few days after it ends. So the energy's still there, right? And so it's Mercury retrograding in Cancer. And so I'm a Cancer rising. So it's affected me. And also Cancer is the house of family, right? Family, the mother, the home. And so a lot of things have come up for me to review, right? I've been taking inventory of my family dynamics, um, relationships, and where I do a lot of the work, right? A lot of the emotional work, a lot of the keeping up, a lot of the work, right? So that if I don't put that work in, then the relationship falls apart. So I've been watching that. And I've also been watching how supportive some of my family members are in my things, right? And in the things that I do, and in the accomplishments that I have and things like that. Because in my family, I very much have taken the role, just like my mom, in being that person that, keeps the family together, in hosting. I host New Year's Eve parties in my house. It's a tradition. I, when it's people's birthdays, I'm like the one buying the cakes. And I'm very much, I like to celebrate people and I like to love them. I love to love on my people and give them their flowers and root for them. If somebody's starting a new project, I'm first, like, I'm there supporting, if somebody's selling something, I will buy it. I'm like your number one cheerleader, right? And especially for my family, I am the cheerleader in my family. And so I've been seeing that, I'm always cheerleading, and then I've been thinking, like, who cheerleads me? Who's front and center in my things? Who's the ones that are like, yeah, good shit? And so it's been a little bit saddening, but also, like, my eyes are opening up, God, divine intervention. God makes you see and gives you the vision. And it's heartbreaking at times because you're like, that's not fair, because I'm like always so supportive and I'm always rooting people on, and like, how come the people that I root on aren't that for me, right? And that's a little bit heartbreaking. But who's the one that's heartbroken, right? There's versions of me that are like, that's not fair. But with this wisdom that I have, I understand that the reason why they can't hold space for me has nothing to do with me, or not like root for me or like be happy for me. Is not, it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with them. It's their own thing, their own unhappiness with their life, or their own maybe self-esteem issues that they need to work on, loving themselves and taking up space so that they can love their people that way. Because I'm thinking that when people look at me and they see the freedom that I have, or even my ability to take up space now, which I didn't before, which I've been working on, this is not something that comes naturally to me. I have to push myself to the center. I have to push myself to the spotlight to take up space. That's not a default for me. And so when people see me taking up space, or, speaking my truth, being authentic and all that, it might, it might ruffle feathers. It might show people places where they aren't doing the same. And, and I'm a mirror, I'm a clear mirror, and I'm a catalyst. And so I understand I understand the reason why some of my people can't root for me, or can't applaud me, or can't, support me in the ways that I support them, or root for them, or love them. And I saw something yesterday in the Jesse Reyes interview that I watched on the In Real Life podcast. Angie Martinez, that's one of my favorite podcasts, because she talks the real shit. She talks the things that we want to know. She actually like goes there, like into the vulnerable places, and people take their masks off with her. And so she was asking her, what do you define love, right? How do you define love? And she was saying, pretty much, love is when you want the best for people. You want the best for people regardless of if they're with you or not. You just want the best for them. And so she texted me. Oh, the Uber? Okay, I'll text her. I'll got it right. Thank you, baby. Tell her okay. And that's what I'm seeing now. Like, if these people actually love me, I know I'm reading too deep into it, but if they actually like had the same love for me that I have for them, where I want them to I want them to be the best, do the best, get all the best, right? They should want that for me too, you know, but there's a lot of conditional love out here, not unconditional. And so that's what's happening. But either way, I am happy that Mercury retrograde gave me these, you know, these realizations, and I've been able to take inventory, and, you know, the more you know, the more you know. And the more you know, the more you can walk your path with less guilt and also with more wisdom, you know. Because I had a lot of guilt when I moved over here, and now I'm like, and yeah. So that's it. That's all I really wanted to talk about. I had to freaking make like like 6 videos because fucking I kept running out of storage. And so I had to, like, every time the phone stopped because it said no storage, I had to literally go into the phone and delete apps and delete email. I deleted Gmail because that shit has mad emails. I don't really check my email like that. But yeah. Thank you for listening, and I hope that Mercury retrograde didn't fuck you up too much. And Saturn will be going retrograde soon. I think it's on the 23rd also. So Saturn is Big Daddy Karma. And so a lot of karma is going to come collect. So we'll see how that goes. I'll talk a little bit about that, I guess, next episode. Love you.